Welcome to Roughing It with Ruth, the channel where everything is a bit rough around the edges. Since the start of the new year in 2018, I've seen so many new hikers out on the trail and trail runners out on the trail, which is fantastic. Hiking is such an awesome activity and it's really great to see more and more people getting into it. But there have been several incidents that I have seen myself and that I have read about that are truly scary, and a lot of the incredibly scary things that are happening seem to just be because people are very inexperienced and they're a little bit unsure of how to tackle hiking safely. So if you're a new hiker, then strap in, because I have 10 rules that I always apply to my own hikes, and I feel like they keep me a lot safer. Rule number 1, if you're very inexperienced, don't go and hike on your own. Don't do solo hiking until you have a bit more experience under your belt. And if you are a very experienced hiker and you decide to do solo hiking, then be really honest with yourself about the amount of risk that you're taking. Anything can happen out there, and if you're on your own, the risk is just far greater than if you were with a group of people who could help you out. Then rule number 2, this is so important. You're going to be in a group, but please don't leave people behind. This is, for me, the golden rule of hiking. Go with other people and make sure that you don't leave anybody behind. No matter if they're unfit or slow or having a bad day or not being a team player or being rude and difficult, don't walk off and leave one of your members behind, because anything could happen to them. Then rule number 3 is also extremely important. You need to look out for each other when you're hiking in a group. This doesn't just mean that the group leader is responsible for every single person. If you arrive for a group hike, even if it's with a group of complete strangers, get into the habit of counting all of the hikers, even if you're not the group leader, and periodically check that all of the hikers are still there. This is just responsible, and you need to take responsibility for what you are doing. Don't make it somebody else's problem. The same goes for if you notice that someone is struggling. The person who is struggling is probably in such desperate straits that they are not going to be able to ask for help. So it's your responsibility to make sure that when someone is struggling, you take the initiative and find out how you can help them. Which brings us on to rule number 4. Communication is really important when you're hiking with a group of people. If you're having issues or you need help or something is going wrong or you want to do something differently, you have to communicate with the rest of your group. Don't just sit there and wait for some sort of disaster to perpetuate before everybody else becomes aware of what you've known for a long time. Rule number 5, this is another golden rule of hiking, whether you're going solo or you're going in a group. No matter where you're going, no matter how long, tell somebody where you're going and when you're meant to be back. This is so important because when things go wrong, it's not going to be something that you planned for. So every single time you go on a hike or go on a trail run, tell someone where you are going and when you're going to be back. Then on to a few more concrete things that you can do as a new hiker to keep yourself safe. Rule number 6 is to always take with you water, some food, something waterproof, a cell phone, a light, which might just be the light on your cell phone in an emergency situation, a map, and a first aid kit. Those last 2 items are going to bring us to rule number 7 and rule number 8. Rule number 7 is learn how to use your first aid kit. Go and do a first aid course. It doesn't matter how much money you have spent on the first aid kit in your pack. The only worth that that first aid kit has is the worth of the knowledge in your head and in your hands. If you don't know how to use the equipment that you have in your first aid kit, it is completely worthless. And rule number 8, that map is also completely worthless unless you know how to use it. It doesn't have to be a physical paper map, it could be something as simple as taking a photograph of the map that is displayed at the trailhead when you arrive for your hike, or downloading a GPS track to your cell phone or your watch. Whatever your choice is, the point is that you need to know how to navigate. It is extremely important, and if you don't know how to navigate, then at some point you are going to get lost. Then rule number 9 is something that I am quite militant about. I know I seem very intense about all of these rules, but this rule number 9 I am so invested in because I have had several skin cancers cut out of my own body, and it is really not fun. Wear a hat and wear sunscreen, especially in South Africa. Even if it's winter, even if it is raining and snowing, put sunscreen on, guys. The South African sun is insane, and if you don't put sunscreen on, you will regret it later on. And then our final rule, rule number 10, is do a bit of research. Anybody, no matter how inexperienced, can go online, type in the name of the trail that they're going to do, see where it is, what type of terrain, what photos people have posted of the trail, have a look at the route maps, check the weather. That is a very important thing to know. So if there's going to be any chance of more extreme weather, then you can take something warm. And the final bonus tip kind of ties into my last rule as well, but it's just to learn. Everybody starts out not knowing anything, but the more you do things and the more you try, the better you're going to become at it. So just keep on trying to learn. I'm going to put a link in the video description below to the Hike Like a Woman website. They periodically have outdoor school classes that are online, which are very helpful for learning some basic skills. And that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more.